baby! Let's go!
Welcome to this small and quiet town on the northern edge of the Swiss Alps, home to 90,000 people in one of the most grueling and unforgiving races in all of rowing. Lucerne, home of the Last Chance Regatta, better known by rowers as the Regatta of Death. Before each Summer Olympic Games, any boat still hoping to race at the Games descend upon the Lake of Gods here in Lucerne. This picture-perfect 2K course, dwarfed by Mount Rigi in the distance, will be home to the final threshold these rowers must cross to keep their dreams alive. Welcome to the Rotsee. Rowers fly in from all around the globe and take the train through the Swiss countryside from Zurich to Lucerne, some traveling on their own dime, some supported by their national team, but all with the pressure to come out on top and win, because they have to. With only 2 open qualification spots in each event, there is no room for mistakes. 2 winners, that's it. Years, sometimes decades of work and effort has led these athletes to a single race where their dreams can ultimately culminate to nothing. Some events had 4 boats, some had 23, but only the top 2 finishers get a chance to go and fight for their Olympic dream on the highest stage. Rowers from every continent came to Switzerland to fight for these spots. And on May 15th, their final moment to fulfill their dreams of becoming an Olympian began. Even after being denied media credentials the morning of my flight, I packed up my camera bag and began my journey to Lucerne to capture these moments. My name is Eamon Glavin. I'm a rower and filmmaker from Philadelphia, and this is my story of the Final Olympic Qualification Regatta. The story begins on a flight to Zurich, landing on Friday morning, the day before racing. No media credentials meant the highest levels of anxiety the entire plane ride there. Cam Buchan assured me I'd still be able to get footage along the banks of the course.
Cam Buchan just commented on my post.
But I need to see for myself. Riding the train into the town of Lucerne, I'm sure even the most peaceful countryside views of Switzerland couldn't calm the rowers' minds as they drew closer to the course. Once that lake popped into the left side of the train, the pressure was real, and it was on. I unloaded at my tiny Airbnb and grabbed my camera bag to go scout the lake for best spots to go filming racing. Just as he said, there were plenty. I hiked around the course, figuring out the best angles, wishing I could go for a row myself as the lake slowly came alive as the final practice session commenced. I made my way over here to Switzerland to follow the 6 American boats that won the Olympic trials this past spring. Our men's single, heavy and light doubles, quad, pair, and women's light double all made their journey over to Lucerne. I'm also a dual citizen of Ireland, my entire family from the West Coast, so my heart belongs to the Irish team as well. The women's 4 and light doubles, as well as the men's single, had made their way over from the training camps in Varese. On the eve of the regatta, I asked the US men doubles if they'd wanted to record any final thoughts before racing, but they were locked in, and I wasn't going to be the one to break their focus. So I watched the sun set behind the mountains and waited until morning. Welcome to race day. Heats where everyone gets to race. Today's when you find out if your training has been Olympic caliber or just enough to win your country's trials. 153 boats warmed up along the course, ready to absolutely send it.
On day one of the Final Olympic Qualification Regatta, and the men's eights just went by. I'm at about the 550 meter mark. I'm here where everyone does their starts, their warm up and everything, and they go back and forth here, so I got really close shots on them. Just cloudy and dreary here in Lucerne, Switzerland. Stay tuned till the evening session, the reps. Last chance to get into the semifinals or finals, depending on how many boats there are.
I waited around the course for the afternoon reps to start. I ended up napping on a bench at the finish line and woke up to some dreary but nice and flat racing conditions. I moved over near the grandstands to get a shot of the last 500 meters. Reps were officially underway. All 4 US men's sculling boats were in reps, as well as Dara in the single. This race was the moment that you needed to win if you wanted to go on. I wanted to capture the moments of people getting one round further or getting knocked out of the running. As the boats came across the line, there were no quiet celebrations, just exasperation and relief that you lived to fight another day. If your regatta was done, it was a quiet row back to the dock. The US men's scullers gave their all and unfortunately came up short. Jasper and Zach needed top 2 to go on, coming third. Same with JP and Kev. The Penn AC boys seemed to have a tougher outing, needing 4th and came 5th. John needed top 2 and came 5th as well. Dara Lynch, the Irish single, was the only one to get through to semis, joining the rest of the Irish boats, and the US light women's double of Molly Michelle, and the men's pair of Tom Pezic and Mike DeSanto. Reps are tough to go out on. All that prep, training, visualizing, and time and money spent training at the best locations with the equipment, all done in one day. Reps are tough to go out on. But you don't get a chance if you don't throw your hat in the ring. So I am proud of these boys. On Saturday evening, World Rowing confirmed their initial plan of moving Monday races to Sunday, right after semis to avoid unfair racing conditions caused by the incoming weather. So tomorrow became the last day of FOQR. field has been whittled down to the top boats of the 14 races, and it's time for only the top 2 to go on to the Olympics. The only boats I've been following that remain are Molly Michelle, Ethan Maggs, Tom and Mike, and the Irish 4. When the last semifinal crossed the line, the final started just 10 minutes later. The compressed schedule meant some boats would be racing at least 3 times within 30 hours. I made my way down to my spot just behind the finish line to capture the final moments. They started with the events that didn't race that morning to give the others a bit of time to recover. So first up, the women's pair.
My new Chile friends got 3rd, which means they missed qualifying by 1 place. It was a very tough spot to be in this race. It's the worst one, I think.
Yeah, Denmark!
Russia and Denmark came away with the win. Russia would go on to Tokyo to compete as the Russian Olympic Committee, since the country was technically banned from the games. The women's double followed closely behind with Russia and Germany out front.
So that's the women's double.
Yeah, Deutschland!
Straight to A final. They did an exhibition race, so they kind of understood who would be in what position, but you know, gotta race it on the day. But holy crap. So that's Russia and Germany.
Next down the course was the women's 4s, led out by the big strong girls of Ireland, and China claiming the 2nd spot.
Yes, Ireland! Go on, Ireland! Yeah! Big strong girls!
I could still hear the 4s celebrating when I spotted some Greeks going nuts on the far path. Aneta Krigiu led out ahead of the Belarusian Klimovic as they qualified for the games. We had the women's quad up next, with Australia in their C2 comp blades and the whistling French. Men's quads were next, with Estonia and Russia out front. 2 of the Russians were caught doping a few months later, so Lithuania became the people's quad and took their place in Tokyo. Fully deserved. And now we've made it to the big boats, with China leading the way and Romania on their heels for the final of the women's 8.
Yeah, China!
As I waited for the men's 8s, the photographer from the Art of Rowing New Zealand joined me in my spot as the men's 8s came thundering down the course. The famous Kiwi 8 led the field with Romania holding on to that 2nd place.
New Zealand and Romania through to the Olympics. In the men's 8, Hamish Bond's done it again.
Yeah, New Zealand. Yeah, Romania.
Next up, the intense battle of the men's pair, which went all the way to the wire.
Oh, this is going right to the line.
The Netherlands and Denmark inched ahead of Tom and Mike from the US, just edging them out of the Olympic Games.
That's a tough one. Third by 2 seconds, so a little less than a boat length.
Following the pairs, the men's doubles had Russia and the Czech leading the field.
Come the men's fours. South Africa and Canada.
Going to the Olympics, baby!
Let's go.
That's it, boys! Going to the Olympics! That's it! Tokyo, boy! It's on! Yeah, boys! Well raced! I can tell you, that was the fastest 1K running in my life! Yes! Oh, that's it, boy! Train! Dude, you didn't beat me in the last 1K! I'm not fucking leaving!
I'm not fucking leaving!
I'm not fucking leaving!
Have fun in Tokyo.
Thanks, dog!
You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Let's go.
As the rain began to fall, like something out of a movie, the gladiatorial men's singles came down the course, with Russia and Canada leading out front. The only two races left, the lightweights. The rain came down harder and the women's lightweight double was the first on the course. A third qualification spot for Tokyo had opened up after only 2 of the 3 available spots at the America's Qualification Regatta were allocated to the eligible crews. So the top 3 in this race were headed to the Olympics, and Molly and Michelle were out front of the Swiss and the Irish.
Let's go! Ireland and USA. And Switzerland. Right. I'm a dual citizen for Ireland and USA.
Yeah, it's fine.
I couldn't remember if it was Denmark or Switzerland. I'm like, I had to check.
Yes, Ireland! Yeah, Molly Michelle!
Team M&M had done it and I was ecstatic. I ran around to the award stock to see them get their medals, but sprinted back to capture the men's lightweight doubles with Canada and the Czech taking the last 2 spots in the Tokyo Olympic Games.
Margaret, congratulations! For Ireland!
Yeah, Ireland!
And that was it. Just like that, the 29 final spots for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games were decided less than 30 hours after the first race. The Final Olympic Qualification Regatta was officially over, and the whole lake went back to being dead quiet. The smiles of the qualified were the only thing shining among a sea of dejected dreamers. As the athlete area slowly emptied out, I watched as some of the rowers left the course for the last time. While some were staying for the week to race at World Cup 2, which was the very next weekend. The clouds broke and the US doubles launched for a row on the empty Lake of the Gods.
There goes Jasper and Zach.
This is when I was able to bring out the drone for these incredible shots. As I filmed Jasper, Zach, Kev, and JP glide across the water, I thought about the incredible stories from this regatta that most people wouldn't know. Hamish Bond and the Kiwi 8 had to travel across the world for only 2 races down the course in Lucerne, where they then had to return to New Zealand to individually quarantine for 2 full weeks before they could step back in the 8 together. John Smith of the South Africa 4 was the 2012 Olympic gold medalist in the lightweight 4 and had qualified the open pair at the 2019 World Champs and has now qualified the heavyweight 4 at FOQR. Nicky van Sprang, a former California Berkeley rower from the Netherlands, was in a similar situation where he qualified the double in 2019, was deselected from the boat, and ended up going into the pair for FOQR. There are so many of these stories that I can't possibly know and recount them all. So please, I encourage you to tell me and everyone else about them down below. At the time of publishing this video, the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Regatta took place on the Sea Forest Waterway. 12 of the 29 qualifying boats from FOQR made it through to the A finals, where they had a chance to fight for medals. Of those 12 boats, half of them won medals. The Kiwi men's 8 won an incredible gold medal. The Russian Olympic Committee women's pair grabbed silver, and then the Denmark men's pair, Irish women's 4, Chinese women's 8, and Australian women's quad snagged bronze. In the closest race of the games, where the top 5 boats were separated by exactly 1 second, my friends Molly and Michelle, the US lightweight women's double, unfortunately came away with 5th.
So I'm very grateful that I was able to come over here and experience and film the Final Qualification Regatta, and hopefully I'll be able to follow these guys in 3 years' time on their way to Paris. For this video from ROTC, I would like to say thanks for following along, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed. I'll sign off on this video from the ROTC. See ya.